So is the Atlantic Seaboard ready for the upcoming hurricane season? With me now is the executive director for the Action Center located in Far Rockaway, New York. Aria is here. This prediction of a relatively moderate season, something we should keep our fingers crossed for, but that may or may not go to how well prepared a community is.
Exactly. You know, I find it interesting that this is the prediction. It's the same prediction at the same time in 2012 that it would be a relatively slow season. So it's best to prepare regardless, you know, of what the prediction is. And quite frankly, we're not as prepared as we need to be.
Well, you know, after Superstorm Sandy, what occurred to people was, okay, so maybe as bad as it was, maybe this is the wake-up call. Did things improve substantially?
Not for every community. I think when there's a wake-up call and you're dealing with an emergency, it's a response. It's not preparation. So when there's a lull, as it were, or a remission or a prediction of a slower season, that's a time where you really prepare. And in terms of preparing, we mean not build a big seawall, but make sure that children know where to go, that families know what to do in case their apartments flood, to know what schools need to do in terms of notifying different people about what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in your community when we visited with you before, the number of people really flooded out and left stranded by that storm.
And they're still worried about it happening now. A week and a half ago in Far Rockaway, we had 6 inches of flood water. There were kids that literally could not come to school because they were cowering in their beds because they're still traumatized from what happened with Sandy. We need to address that and make sure that rather than being, you know, shivering in their beds, they know now's the time to go get my go bag. Let's go. We can do something. We're empowered and we can make a difference and we can prepare.
So that people really think about a go bag, as you say, and the things you absolutely need with medicine or clothes or something for the initial hours after a storm like this would hit.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are very important things that you need to know really in the moment that a storm hits. One, where are the essentials that you need to find in case there's no lights, in case your apartment is flooding? Do you have a central location where you can pick up a one-stop shop bag that has everything in it that you need?
And go to an emergency center. I mean, today, do you have emergency centers prepared in Far Rockaway? Do you have transportation for folks who need help getting out?
It's the status quo in the poor communities. It's one of those cases where the sweeping wheels, of course, there is better preparation there. But in the poor communities now, the transportation system is the same. The shelters that were there, they're still the same in number. So if you couldn't find a shelter when it happened during Sandy, you're not going to find one now. Apartments are still being repaired. And so damage that was there before is still there. So it's important. Know what shelter to go to. We need to train folks. Know what you need in terms to be able to prepare and make sure that you have those items on hand. We need to make sure that folks are prepared. Prepare the psyche as well. Know that yes, these things do happen and you can overcome them. You overcame them with Sandy. Here's how we prepare for the next one to come. And it's better to do it while the winds are not blowing as opposed to waiting until the winds are blowing and then you're responding. You're not prepared.
Well, we hope that it doesn't happen this year and that you have more time to work on those things. Appreciate your being here, Aria from the Action Center at Far Rockaway. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having us.
Coming up next year with no get-out-of-jail-free card and investigation.